Alright, so to begin, I have 1 onion diced, going with about 3 tablespoons of butter and a couple tablespoons of the grapeseed. And right now, I'm just getting these mushrooms cleaned up, and I'm gonna probably quarter these and do some of them in half. I also put in 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. So I've got, altogether, let me check here. I really don't go by recipes. All this stuff I make just kind of over time, just whatever sounds good and it becomes a recipe, or, you know, whatever. I'm trying to look. This big one right here is looking like, so this is 16 ounces, and I have this size and this size, 2 of these guys. I got white, regular, cleaning, and cremini. And if you're unfamiliar with how to clean them, you're just going to take a washcloth. We're pretty earthy in this house, so we like to not use stuff like paper towels and just wipe off the dirt. It's a grueling process, but I don't wash them with water, and that's just me. So I'm gonna do that, and we'll go from there. Alright, so now that I have a little bit of crisp on these onions, I'm gonna go ahead and start my process. Now, I have not quartered all of these. I have not halved all of these. For the big ones, I've halved them, or I'm sorry, I've quartered them, and for the medium ones, I've halved them, and I left the smaller ones whole, and then I got a little lazy, and I didn't do them all, so it's fine. It's whatever. So now we're just going to put these in here, and I mean, consider it does look like a lot of mushrooms, but it really isn't, because these have a lot of moisture in them. So a good rule to live by here is whatever you put in here, maybe you're going to get half. And that's kind of far-fetching, because I don't even think that that's accurate. So I'm going to put all these guys in here. And a good rule here is to put some salt on, but not too much, because we don't want it to be too salty. This salt that we're going to put in here is going to pull the moisture out of these vegetables, and there is a lot. It's also good for zucchini. And this is kosher. So I know in a previous video I made, I think it was a beef stew, and I kind of went a little overboard. Now, if it was table salt, that would have been an appropriate amount, but this is kosher. Kosher is more salty than other salts, and that does matter. Kosher is a very good salt. If you're trying to find a salt that you like, I honestly would say try different salts. They have specialty stores you can go to, or you can do some research. Personally, like I said, I like this one. Or if you want to get fancy, I think I have it somewhere here. I love Himalayan salt. It's not as salty, but it does, it's more of a milder saltiness, and it's really delicious. I love salt, so I'll just snack on a granule here. Now we're going to add this. You can use beef, you can use chicken, you can use vegetable. I'm going to use vegetable today because that's what I feel like, although in a normal circumstance I believe I'd use beef. See how that works out. But I'm just going to kind of go from there here. And once these are all coated in butter, I think that's when I'll go to my next step. So Alright, so I've added about a tablespoon of the vegetable base and maybe a half a cup of water, and that's pretty much good right now. Maybe adding a little more depending on the flavor, but it's a little early to tell. So now from here, I'm gonna fill this with some water. Eventually, I think what I'm gonna do is make a roux, and I'm not sure if I want to take the mushrooms out or not. I haven't decided that far ahead yet. I just want to see how these cook down. So I filled this with water. I don't know if you can see that there. I am leaving room because I want to be able to move this around easily, because I'm going to be taking a whisk here shortly once this kind of cooks down. And that's what we're waiting for. So we'll go from there. Salty. All right. Okay, so let's give these a check. What we're looking for is just the tenderness here. Let's find a bigger mushroom. They're looking like they're done. All the big ones are kind of small now. Trying to find a real big one. One of these. So to check it, see, yeah, there we go. That's what we look for. Whoop, okay, that's fine. Let's see if I can do this again. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's just check that. See how it's just kind of going in easily. That's what we're looking for. Definitely check the stem too and see it just breaks apart. I think we're ready to go. So now we're going to work on our roux. I have 5 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to just melt that real quick. I'm going to put it in for 45 seconds. Do this really quick because my baby's crying. So I put 2 capfuls of hot Hungarian paprika, and I'm putting it on our roux because this is going to produce an oil, and I don't want a film of oil over my soup. So 2 capfuls of that, and now I'm going to cut a sprig of dill, a few actually. This I'm going to say is about, I want to say a 1/4 cup. It's 1 full package, so when you go to the produce, it's going to be that full package, and a half of a lemon. And I'm going to put the soy sauce in right now. And I'm just going to, those are just a few tablespoons to taste. That's why I said not too much salt, right? Let's add our dill so that it can incorporate into our soup. Half a lemon, and I'll get back to the roux. Roux's in. So now I'm just kind of mixing it up here. It's not perfect, but that's okay. It's not really about it being perfect. I am not like Gordon Ramsay, unfortunately. I'd like to be that someday, but you know, not yet. So I feel like that's a good enough incorporation here. And now we're just going to heat it, and we'll go from there. You want to get this up pretty decently and let it sit for a minute to kind of absorb the flour before adding more roux. That was a good amount. I think I did maybe like a half a cup of flour. So yeah, maybe it should be all right. This is a big, or this isn't a very big pot. Alright, so this is a little thin for me, so I'm going to kind of double what I just did. This is a big pot, so Another one. So with this one, all I did was put some oil in because I'm kind of a little lazy here. And that's fine. It's your food, you're eating it. So just make that up, see? Mix it really well because I don't want any of those clumps that you can see in here. This is perfect. Nice and smooth. Okay, so this is about that thickness that I'm wanting. We're almost there. I'll take this guy out. Alright, I'm going to say that that's good. Now again, definitely suggest cream over half and half. I don't like half and half. That is just me. But for this soup in particular, I really don't use half and half. Let's check the thickness. Yeah, see, that's what I wanted. You can even make it thicker if you want, but I think this will be alright. And that is all there is to it. Now, you can also add like maybe a half a cup, third of a cup of sour cream to this guy, but I used so much oil and butter, and it really tastes good on its own, that I'm not going to do that. You can definitely garnish it with some dill, some sour cream, and that's pretty much it. So, tell me what you think, and enjoy.